Hey guys, welcome back to the Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter card game review. Today's game up on the tabletop is called Re-Chord by Yanaguana Games. Re-Chord is for 2 to 4 players, but that might change depending on the Kickstarter. And is about ages 13 up, takes about a half an hour to 45 minutes to play the game Re-Chord. In the game, you're basically going to be a guitarist, and you're going to be playing as a different secret genre, and there's different genres in the game, and it's based off of color. And you're going to be pulling picks out of a bag. When you pull these picks out of a bag, you're going to be placing it on a board, and you're going to be trying to score chords and or Re-Chords. When you score these chords or Re-Chords, you're going to gain points throughout the game, as well as having that secret color down. And as you lock in the frets on the board here, you're going to be gaining bonus points as well. You're trying to obtain as many points as possible and increase your celebrity in that certain genre that you're playing. Anyway, let me go ahead and show you the game Re-Chord. So here we have the game Re-Chord all set up for you. We're playing a 3-player game. You can play up to 4 players currently. Then you get 3 Re-Chord cards apiece, as well as a reference card that is both front and back, which shows you what each of the picks does, as well as what you do on your turn and how you score. You're also going to have the same thing on the board here, which is nice. It just tells you how it works and how your turn takes place. You're going to be drawing based on the number of players here, and as you can see here, you've got 2 players, and then a 3-player game, and a 4 full-player game. So I've got 3, so I've put up 4 here. You have an extra set of Re-Chord cards you'll be using throughout the game. You got a bag, which has got tons of little picks in it, which have a both front and back side with different colors. You're going to be getting scorecards here, which you can write down at the end of the game, as well as your secret types of music: metal, rock, blues, folk, and jazz, as well as a brief example of how the rule reminders are. These are rule reminders of the game. But alright, that is the basic setup of the game. Let me tell you about how to play the game. Okay, so in Re-Chord, you're going to be getting one of these 5 different colors, and you're going to be competing in that specific type of genre. You're going to shuffle these cards up and deal them out to each player, and only they get to know what their color is. The rest of them get removed and never get shown. For instance, I would be the blue guy, and I would be the spirit of blues. I am trying to do as best as I can with the blue chips to score points throughout the round, as well as scoring points with chords and Re-Chords. Every single player is going to get these 3 cards, and these 3 cards are going to be different chords of the game. You got like the D chord and the A, and then the B chord, and they show you how the picks need to be aligned up on the board. This game plays similar to Ticket to Ride in the fact that when you play chords down, you're trying to match them to their locations, and once you match them to their location, you can score that location. The only difference is, well, there's plenty of differences, but the main difference is when you do match it onto the board here, you're going to play that instantly. It could be on your turn or an opponent's turn. However, you don't get to draw these cards back up unless you choose to do so on your turn. On your turn, you get 3 different actions. One action is to pick up a pick and put it down on the board and do what the pick says, as the different types of actions the picks have. Another thing you could do is draw a pick from the bag, put it down onto the board, and then choose if you'd like to remove an adjacent pick. The last thing you can do is, if you don't want to do anything with the picks, you can simply draw 2 extra Re-Chord cards. Although, remember, you can only have 3 total Re-Chord cards in your hand, so you're going to have to discard down to 3 if you ever go over. After that, you're going to pass your turn and play will continue. Finally, to note, as frets get filled, you're going to be scoring them, and once the entire game board is filled, you're going to do a tally of all the scores and find out who the winner is. Let me go ahead and show you how the game works. Okay, so we're about to play the game. Ignore this 5th fret. It could be a Kickstarter expanded piece, depending on how well it goes. So we're just going to focus on these first 4 frets here, and we'll start with the player over here to your left. You see his Re-Chords here. He's got an E, a B, and another B. That's really nice. When you have 2 Re-Chords of the same type, you're going to score points for the first chord, and then afterwards, if you Re-Chord it, you'll get 12 points. And it's different for every type. But for instance here, if you had both of these at the end of the game, you get 5 and 12, which would be 17 points. Really nice. Nevertheless, you're going to have to look at these cards here secretly so nobody else can see, and determine where you want to place them on the board, and they all align just like this. So in this case, I want a white one, and that's what I'm going to do for my action on the turn. I have the 3 different actions, like I said: bag, here, or drawing 2 cards. I don't need to draw 2 of the cards because I already have 3 still. So I'm going to take this chord here and place, or this pick here, and place it right here on the 2nd fret. After that, I will take the action of the white pick, which tells you right over here what it is, and it's just pick another pick from the piles here. So I will go ahead and take another one, and I think I'll go with double rainbow all the way. I'm going to place that pick right here. Now I've just matched 2 of my 3, which is really nice. If I ever get a blue here, or an opponent does, I'm going to score this chord. And the same with anybody else. They're going to be looking at the board as we play things to try and also obtain that. Playing this pick means that if I wanted to, I could replace any other pick with it, or just simply play it down for any specific pick color. It counts for all things. Then after that, I am going to put my hand back so nobody else can see it. And then I am going to end my turn, and the next player, or myself, will simply take 2 picks out of the bag and place them on their face upside on the board. There's a face down and a face up. Face down is black, face up is the color of its specific type. If it is rainbow, face up and face down is irrelevant. Okay, so I've moved on to the next player. The next player's got his out, and he's now noticed. He's going to look at the board and see if anything works for him that I've placed down on the last turn. Nope, that doesn't work. And no, that doesn't work either. So he's going to have to go ahead and do his own things. So on his turn, he can go ahead and select, and these stay here until they get removed, if they do get removed. And he's going to pick any one of these things. So he'll probably pick red. And he'll look over here. He'll notice that, oh, he doesn't want to put that. He can't put that there. Maybe he can. He needs this spot open. So he'll put this guy here, just like that, for this C chord here, as you can see over here. And when you play the red chord, you can remove any pick you want from the board and put it back into the bag. Then after that, he's finished his turn. He didn't score anything, and he's going to put one pick back, and it'll be the next player's turn. Got a blue one here. Blue ones are pretty cool. All right, so this guy's got his stuff out. A, D, and B chords. Let's see, anything matches here for him? Nothing over here. Nothing. Nope, no good stuff here for him, but he's got a purple one here, so he can place that purple just like that. And he's going to go ahead and pluck any face-down pick, revealing its color, and you can take its action. So if there's a face-down pick like that, you could flip it back over, and you can use its power again. So if this one was face down, you flip it over with this guy, you could then remove any pick off the board, and you could remove this one if you wanted to. However, he can't because there was no face-down pick. And the gray one's the ones that put things face down. Another one goes down, blue. Okay, and once again, we just continue that play. And basically the turns are going to continue that way. Like I said, another action could be if this player didn't want to do this, he can simply, if he didn't want any of these guys, he can simply pull one from the bag, and you get to take this card. Oh, this is a great one. So he gets to put this down anywhere he wants. He would look at his cards. He's got this here he wants to put down, so he's still got these two, and he needs a blue one. So he played this white one, which means he can pull again. Perfect. He pulls this blue one, puts it there. He can then switch, so he can move or swap any other pick to a new space. Maybe he wants to put this red one, maybe this purple one, I suppose. He can put it down, here. That would match up with this guy here. All right, but he also can score a Re-Chord, or a chord, an E chord. So he would score it because these three match, these three symbols. He puts it down, showing everybody. He doesn't get to draw any up, though, unless he chooses on his action to draw two of these chords here. And that would be the end of his turn. He'd simply then put the cards back, just like this. So that's how he's showing you how to pull from the bag there, just like that. You get to do its ability. Pretty solid. It does work out sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Finally, like I said, just the drawing the chords. You're not going to need to do that. This guy probably still wouldn't do it unless he only had one. And you're going to be scoring points as you continue to score points. If he had another E chord or he scored these two B chords, that's going to give him more points throughout the round. Let me show you how to score the game up. So first of all, this game is going to end up scoring eventually when people start placing these things down and doing their abilities. So just to speed things along, I'm going to put some of them down just to show you how scoring these work. All right, there. These are just to show you the score. Okay, so when these things get filled, however they get filled, so maybe if this one first gets filled, the second fret, we would go over here, we take this thing here, and then we were going to add up all the genre scores. So these are two wilds, and then you've got all the four different types of colors. So red would get 2 because there's 2 wilds, purple would get 3, blue would get 3, white would get 3, and gray here would get 3 as well. You put it down on here, and as these all would score up, you'd fill up all of these things. Now nobody knows what color you are, so this guy here is white, so he's already scored 3 points. But so nobody's going to know until the game is finished. And the game finishes when all of these things get filled and all of the different genre scores get filled up as well. And you're going to total them up for everybody: white, red, blue, gray, and purple. The guitarist, you just write in the guitarist's name. The chords are going to be scored based on what chords you have scored throughout the game. So in this instance, if he had only scored these 3 chords here, he would score 5, 4, and 4, and he would write that down for the chords. However, if he had a Re-Chord for any reason, like another C here, he would score 4 and 11, so he'd get 11, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 24 points here, and he would write that down, and so on and so forth with everybody else as well. So that would show the Re-Chord area. And then your genre is going to be revealed. Everybody's going to reveal the genre. Hey, I'm red, I'm gray, and what this guy is. This guy's blue. And you're going to record the scores from the total over here, down here, add them all up in the total. The person who has the most points is the winner of the game, Re-Chord. So a couple caveats as well, like I usually do. First of all, in the game, choosing those 3 actions is going to be dependent on what you need to do in the game. As you see, the the frets get filled up with specific colors, you might want to choose different picks to pull off other people's colors and put yours on. But you want to be careful or sneaky to make sure that other people don't know which your color is, because if they start knowing that, they're going to start picking you off from the board. It's going to be very difficult for you to stay in the game. Also, the second action, which you pull the bag pull one of these guys randomly from the bag, it does work out to some advantages at some points. Sometimes it doesn't. For instance, that last one, it did work out. I pulled a white one, which helped give me an extra one, and it made me secure a cord, which is really cool. It's as well as if nothing on the field is going to help and nothing on the board is going to help you, pulling from here is a good option, especially if you already have 3 cords in your hand. Don't pull cards if you already have three of these Re-Chord cards in your hand. There's no point in doing so, really, unless you're just hoping for points at the very end there. It works the same way as Ticket to Ride does. That being said, that is how the game works, and scoring points is relatively easy, as you saw. Let me tell you how I think about it. So basically, in the game, it's very, very simple to learn how to play this game. I taught this game to somebody in about 3 or 4 minutes, and it does work very well. It works similar to Ticket to Ride in that aspect of playing the trains, drafting the cards and stuff, except you're going to be doing it with picks. That being said, there are some differences to the game. Instead of pulling from the deck, you'll be pulling from a bag. You'll be drawing cards just like you would Ticket to Ride, but the frets and all that changes the game significantly. Removing different pieces, swapping them. You're not really swapping trains and all that in Ticket to Ride. You're not definitely pulling them off the board. This game is constantly changing, as well as the color is unknown for each and every player. You have to make sure to try and put your color as much on the board as you possibly can, while avoiding your opponent's color on the board as possible. People are scoring points, but you don't know who's scoring points. All you know is that you need to be the highest color if possible as these frets are scored, and once they're scored, they are locked. They're not locked, they are done. You can't score them again, but you can move them around afterwards, and the game ends when everything is filled. Also, like I said, there's a 5th fret on the board, in which case it might be added or whatever. I would suggest it definitely needs to be added in this game, because it's very difficult to secure your color. That was the main thing I had a problem with in the game, was if I was white, there's almost no way I could securely make sure that white stayed on the board, and I wanted to as bad as I could. I just couldn't, because people would need to pull them off for different reasons, whether it be the cords in their hand weren't white, or whether they just knew I was white. I think, frankly, it was just because there were certain pieces I put certain places they just didn't want there. There's no way I could actually guarantee that my, with any strategy of any kind, that I could make sure they were on the board, so it came down to a little bit of happenstance. However, the placement worked very well. Being able to place the Re-Chords and the cords down worked very well for me, and that was my favorite part of the game, was putting them down. I think, like I said, if you add the 5th fret to the game, let me pull this all off. If you added the 5th fret, all of the colors would have to be added to the board, which would make it more likely for you all to gain a same traction, and it would just basically be the difference of scoring points on how many of the different colors. And at the bottom of this thing here, it tells you the different colors. So if you had one color on a different fret, you're going to score 1. If you have 2, you have 4. 3 of your color, it's 11, and so on and so forth. So doing that would make sure that it was all more equal scoring as far as the secret aspect of the game goes. However, that's not enough to really deter you from winning the game. You can kind of ignore your color and still win. I've had that happen a couple times as well, which is really nice, especially because I put a lot of effort into making sure I got my cords and my Re-Chords. The chords all have the same similar areas, E and G and so on and so forth, have the same areas, but they have different colors, which means you're always going to be swapping them around with the colors, and if you can pull it off, if you have the strategy in mind to know how to do it, you're going to score a lot of points in this game. An excellent, fun game. Really did enjoy it. I like the take of a guitar-style game, so I have yet to play one, and I think this is a unique type of game with a nice mechanical background for people who've already played Ticket to Ride. It might be something worth checking out. Alright guys, thanks for watching our Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review. If you like this video, go and check the rest of our videos here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment, as well as checking out Re-Chord, which will be on Kickstarter very soon, if not already. You can go ahead and check it out in the comment section below, as well as checking out our website, unfilteredgamer.com. Tons of blog posts, Kickstarter lists, and giveaways. Giveaways for villains and vigilantes. And you can go ahead and push a couple buttons and get that if you want, get lucky. As well as checking out affiliate sites, everythingboardgames.com, Giveaway Geek, and Devatoast Gaming. Got some good stuff on there as well, especially more giveaways, even more than our own. Alright guys, that's it for this episode, and once again, I look forward to seeing you next time.